because then everything's not.
11:01, I'm starting that. There's Kathy's in Washington.
Man, I should just come from my own home office and we would have Tori come in and be the remote.
Right. In person's so much better. We all get so much more being here.
So
Morrison's, looks like you're not coming in person today. Bummer.
Yeah, Jeff, our grandkids came into town from California and pretty much got everybody sick. So we're a little under the weather.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. That's a bummer. It's still lingering. So if you got to be sick, you got to have your grandkids sick with you.
Is that how that goes? I mean, I don't feel like that's how that
Oh,
goes.
darn, I got to stay home again with the kids. Darn it.
I see.
That's my thought process. Then I don't feel guilty for not working. Right?
Right?
Hey, Kathy. Hey, Bonnie.
Good morning. My kids are flying in this morning. They went right over top of you. They should be landing in Seattle any day, anytime.
I think your mic's under a sock or something, Kathy. We can barely hear you.
Uh-oh.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Bonnie?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Is that any better, Jeff?
No. That's okay.
Really?
I'm gonna step away for a second and go downstairs and see who else is coming up. We got some other stuff going on here in the office. I'll be right back.
That's crazy. Most weeks, like, this place is like that. I'm sorry, but lately it seems like everybody within this team just got super busy. So I would say probably
Which
last
is
3 weeks.
awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic.
But it means, eye contact is you.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Not the amazing people online.
Yeah.
What kind of real estate do you do?
Just residential.
Next.
So I actually just started, I'm in my second year right now. And I was with another brokerage prior. I was with them for about, I would say almost a year. And I switched over to EXP last December.
Best decision ever.
Well, I literally doubled my business. Like, I honestly, I got into real estate. I was thinking, maybe I'll do like a house for a year or whatever. Who could use an extra chunk of change, So I was actually under contract before I even had like all my accesses and stuff. So it was like super, super weird, right? But then, so I did like 3, and it went great, and then I went into this like huge dry spell. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just focused on my full-time job, no big deal. But I did like one more at that brokerage, and then all of a sudden I was getting ready to switch over. And then I had 2 that were like almost under contract. I mean, we were like right there working counter offers and everything else. Switched over, literally doubled my business in like the first, 3 months being here from my previous year, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more to offer here.
Nice.
Dang, I should have had you on camera. That was a great little testimonial. That was awesome.
I should totally like script that so it sounds.
Yeah,
cleaner,
could you say that again? I'm gonna point the camera your way. For you guys on Zoom, that was Tori to ball. Okay, we're gonna get started, guys. We got a little lower attendance in the office than we're used to. Summer, are you staying for this class?
Yeah, I'll take notes and stuff. I'm just gonna be working.
Oh, you're working back there. You're welcome to come sit up here as well. So guys, we're gonna get started. Thanks for jumping on Zoom. That's great content. Jennifer Seeley's been with us before, has a great approach. I mean, not just a photography, it's a business. She's got her business is photography, but with a purpose. And I'm excited for this class because it's different than the last one. So I get to learn a little bit deeper of her mindset on what we're putting out there matters, right? Instead of just like, oh, I got a headshot, or I took some new pictures on my phone, and what you're putting out there. I'm not going to describe this properly. She's going to do it better, but it's more like presenting your lifestyle, who you are, your brand is you. And sometimes we do things, it's like, oh, I got to make a post, but we don't really think about the purpose behind it. It's like, why are you making it? So I'm gonna let Jennifer come up. We're gonna get started. And she's got a whole new slide deck for us. Hopefully I shared that properly. Can you guys see? Give me a thumbs up or say yes if you can see her slide. Yep, thanks, Dave. Awesome. So we should be good to go. I'm gonna turn the power on this, and when it stops working, I try and figure out why. So awesome.
It's all good. Well, everyone, so in between the time that I was here last, when I was solely a photographer, and today I have changed a lot of things. So if that just forward.
Yep.
Fantastic. So I'm Jennifer Seeley. Just had my 28th anniversary. So we've been married 28 years. I'm mom of four.
That's huge.
I have a son-in-law and a son-in-law to be. I updated the slide to say 2 son-in-laws because it's a week from Friday, the wedding. Talk about crazy, right? The fun part is.
Who's doing the
that-
photos?
Not me. I'm the mother of the bride. The fun part about it, the rest of that little bullet points is 2 grandchildren. They were born yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So my daughter had twins yesterday.
Congrats.
So I am going from here to the hospital to see, I was there last night, don't worry, with my camera. So got that covered. Anyway, so that's who I am. But in the last year, I really went to town on the whole branding thing and took myself back to school. And I got a brand management certificate from Cornell University. So I not only do the photography, I now am wanting to help businesses, especially very small businesses like realtors, to be able to brand themselves effectively and know why and how they're doing it. Oh, thanks.
This will make it a little
That
easier.
makes it a little easier. You're right. I spin. They got behind the camera. So anyway, so I'm a certified brand manager. As I dived into that, I realized that I needed to be able to know where to start first every time. In our businesses, we've got to know where to start first because we try really hard to do it all and we kind of fail in doing it all. So you got to know what's the most important thing to work on. So as I was researching that concept, I came across the book called Fix This Next by Michael Michalowicz. So he wrote this book in order to help people understand what to fix first. And as I dove into that training, I was like, man, I need to be certified in this too. So I'm a certified Fix This Next advisor. I'm going to talk about that at the end of this presentation, give you a website that you can go to take the evaluations, because really it's all about knowing what to work on first. What's broken, let's fix that first. He set it up in a triangle situation where if you don't fix the foundation, you don't really, if you work on the upper levels, the foundation just crumbles underneath you. So that is the trainings that I have. And then like Jeff said, I've been a business photographer for the last 5 years, helping businesses to tell their story through images. So that is who I am, everybody. So let's talk about what a brand is. Your brand is not how your business looks. That is the #1 thing I say in my business, because everybody thinks a brand is your logo. And a brand includes your logo, definitely. But a brand is not how your business looks. A brand is how your business acts. You have to focus on what your business does. So here, let me give you my best example. You take the Target stores, right? We've got a big old red and white circle logo on every store. They don't have to even put their name on it anymore. The logo is that important. But do we shop there because they have a big red and white circle logo on the store? No. We're there because they have forward fashion. They have everything under one roof. They have friendly sales associates in every single department. I don't know if that's true because I don't actually shop there, but I've been there. It's been a little bit anyway. So, they have well-established cleaning up the place. They have, anyway, there's an experience there. And that's what a brand is. It's all about the experience. Now, I actually talked to, and I'm so sorry, I'm very, very dry today. I actually talked to a realtor about 2 weeks ago. With Caldwell Banker. And I said, hey, I do these free workshops. Realtors are some of my favorite people because you guys soak it in and go right out and apply it. It's amazing. And they came back to me and she said, we're already branded. And I was like, yeah, you're really not. But you go on, think of that.
There's a reason why I offered the class.
Yeah, right, and it is because in fact, Margin Realty and Exit Realty and all those kinds of things, they have a look. And they often have some systems, but every single realtor, every single one of you need to have a way that you approach it in order for you to attract the people you want to work with. That's how that works. So we've got Jeff and Tori in the room, and I don't remember somebody's name in the back there.
Summer.
Hi, Summer. You know, and then all of you online, as you think about this, Jeff is not going to tell you how to interact with your customers, how to follow up with them. That really is up to you. And you need to develop a brand that takes care of the people that you want to take care of. So we're going to talk about that process and how you look at that process. So as you know, does that take me through the rest of the bullet points? I totally went through those bullet points. We're good.
Yes,
We're moving
nailed it.
on. So today we're going to go through the 7 principles of branding. These are my principles. They are not something I pulled out of some other source. I actually found them by studying the life of Jesus Christ. So they are principles that are true and applicable in all situations. If you look hard at them, you'll realize they actually are life principles. So each one of them builds on the other, but also can act independently. It's really quite fascinating. The first idea is that you're going to narrow your focus. You're going to get down to the basics of what needs to happen. When you get there, you'll find that you have to start building up from there, and you build on what you already know. We make a huge mistake when we constantly jump at new ideas rather than going back to who we are and what we want to accomplish and building on the strengths that we already have. Once you're building on strengths, you're going to be consistent. You're going to build consistency. That's all about your systems. How do you do things? How is it replicated? How do you repeat that? All of those kinds of things are part of that process. After that, you got to look at whether or not you're meeting the needs of your clients in what you're doing. Are you meeting those needs? Then your design for long-term impact is about how you take care of the clients. After you meet their needs, can you take care of them after? And do you have the systems in place to do that? Notice that none of that has anything to do with your logo or your website colors, right? That your brand is how you take care of people. Then you have to, once you have all those things in place, you begin inviting. You invite. We're going to talk about invite quite significantly because it's the biggest part of building a business. You've got to invite. And finally, do not forget to be always be improving. I just got asked last week, I was like, it might have been early this week. You heard about how crazy my life is right now, right? She said, how often do you think you should update brand? And I'm like, wow, that's a super involved question. The truth is, if we're only talking about the look, not that often, because your look is about consistency, right? You want to have that same look, and minor changes happen to freshen the brand, but not update. If we're talking about our systems, those must be built on data. You don't ever change a system that does not have data-driven information behind it, because without the data, you won't have the reason to make the system stick. So you want to gather the data and go, I need to change this system because number one, it's not as effective as it could be, and so on. I mean, we're going to talk about that too. So here we go. Let's get started. Principle number 1, narrowing your focus. When you narrow your business to your preferred customer, your preferred clients, your preferred products, your services, when you narrow down your business, if we ask Tori to be a commercial realtor and a residential realtor, and make sure you also deal with the duplexes as well as the $1 million homes, right?
And land.
And land, right. I mean, if we ask you to do it all, you become a jack of all trades, master of none. And what do your preferred clients need? They need a master. Right? They need someone who knows how to walk them through the process, is confident every step of the way, because you're often, depending on who you're dealing with, you're often dealing with people who are like, okay, now what do I do? Okay, now what do I do? Right? Because homes are only done every now and then. Well, they used to be. But you know, now everybody seems like they change all the time. But you know, if you're only doing homes every now and then, you need a master to walk you through it, because it's the biggest purchase you'll make in your lifetime and all those kinds of things. So you narrow things down, write down your services and products. That's how you do that. You do not want to try to be omnicompetent. Become a master in your field. That mastery in that field is what brings people to you over and over. Tori's amazing because he does da 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 da. Jeff takes care of his realtors. You totally want to be in Jeff's brokerage because Jeff takes care of people by inviting amazing people to come do workshops.
Yeah.
Tell me your name.
Sydney.
Hi, Sydney. Oh, you're the one I was emailing, right? Okay. Okay. So, you online people, go off of mute when you have a question and interrupt me. I can see their faces. I really can't see yours. So if you have a question, just stick your voice in. Okay, so how do we narrow the focus? This is a 5 series of questions that go through just the preferred client questions. So realize that you can write these questions for any part of your business to narrow your focus. You can do it for services, you can do it for products, you can do it for vision, you can do it for your mission statement. I'm giving you this one area in the workbook that Jeff is going to send you after this workshop. There will be a vision series of questions for you so you can see how it would work with a different topic. But let's just play with this topic. So if we talk about this topic, what you're going to do is as you go down through the questions, you're going to take only the answer to the previous question to consider the next question. And we're going to get down to where your preferred client is narrow. All right, I hope all you online people are following. So first of all, what demographic is most likely to have a problem that your product or service can solve? So this actually presupposes that you know your products and services pretty well. So what demographic do you, give me an answer. What demographic do you have, let me read it, have a problem that your product or service can solve?
For me, it's primarily VA. So anyone using a VA loan.
Nice.
That's kind of my SOI.
I like it. So who's the demographic?
Soldiers, I guess.
Soldiers, fantastic. Okay, we're gonna go with that. So that answers that question. So of soldiers.
I said military members, yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Military
Yeah, because if
members
there's
of-
any Marines out there, they're like, I'm not a soldier. If there's Navy people out there, like, I am not a soldier. If there's Air Force, actually,
All right.
I'll stop.
Really, the truth is that you really can narrow down to Marines.
Sure.
You know, you really can get that far, and you might as you go through this process. Let's take a look. All right, so of military members, what is going on in their lives or business that mean they're ready to consider the solution you offer? What is happening that they're looking at a VA loan?
They don't have a house,
They don't have.
or that they're buying another house.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
actively looking for a house, right? So now you've changed it. All the military members who own a house, they're not in target market, right? All the military members who are really comfy in their apartment and they super want to be mobile, not your target market, right? So you're not going to go in there and try and convince those people that they are. So already you're down, they're actively looking for a house, all right? So what goals do the military members who are actively looking for a house have? What goals do they have that mean your product or service is a solution? They want a house?
More space.
Stability.
Get more specific, Tori, what kind of house are they looking for?
Right now, I'm working with a couple of clients that are looking more specifically at that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, square footage. Military people that I work with, they don't really care about the square footage so much as how much land they have and how defendable their position is. We can get so into the weeds on that, but I like it because they keep coming to me for it.
So they're looking for a specific kind of house as a general rule. And this is not
Yeah.
everyone, and we're going to talk about when it's not everyone. But so we're looking for a house with land. We're not looking for a condo, right? Not looking for a townhome where, there's an HOA and all. They're looking for a house with land. All right. All right. So now your military members who are looking for a house with land. So now you have to figure out where you're going to find them. Where are those people? Where are they spending their leisure or learning time that your solution can find them? Military members who are looking for a house with land, where are they?
Well, they are currently residing in the valley and they hate it. So we're looking outside the valley. Duchesne, I think, can get a
Interesting.
We're gonna mine a lot of properties out in Michigan. It's pretty cool.
Interesting, good to know. So you already know that you're gonna have to become an expert in Duchesne Realty.
Mhm.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Realty is the organization, got it.
It's more remote property.
Yeah, it's weird out there too.
All right, so, but they are currently in the valley, right? Are they on social media?
I would say 50-50.
Nice, and it's super good to know that, because social media, hugest time drain in the world, right? If your ideal client is not on social media, you don't have to be. Okay, I'm trying to get off social media myself. That's why I'm here today. But yeah, you gotta think of that, right? How old is your client? 3 bedrooms, they probably have kids, right?
Right. So I would say youngest is mid-20s, and
Okay,
then oldest probably, well, he's mid-40s. Yeah, mid-20s, mid-40s.
yeah. So notice the age is not there. You might cover it up in demographic, but once you get into the weeds of this process, then you can start ascending that, because the mid-40s is a little bit younger than me, and they're also not big on social media.
Yeah.
They're really not. The demographics are all about, social media is huge in those younger, the millennial range, right? And so if your age range that you're working with is the older one, that one's a one to realize that that's not where you necessarily want to invest your time and money. So when I go through this with other organizations, let me just stop on that number 4. Here's other things that we find. The last time I did this workshop, I had a mortgage person in the room who got to that, and it was like, that was his big aha moment. It was like, I realized that my demographic, and he was working at the 50 and above kind of range, because he wants people to start flipping and renovating. He wants to help those kinds of people. And that meant he had to work with people with money, right? They have to have money. If you're going to be a flipper, there's got to be a place to start with that money. But the money is more specific than that, because he's a mortgage, he understands equity. So he was like, not only do I want them to have money, they also have to have a house with, $500,000 in equity. And he was telling me that, and I'm like, that's actually me. You should be talking to me. Right? And that was like Hugh's big aha moment. Yeah, it's a Jennifer that I'm going to help get into, Jennifer who has grown up, married children who are going to need a home. And Jennifer might want to buy a second home, because then she can use the equity in the first home to buy the second home and help the kids who can't afford this market. Right? So anyway, so as you kind of think about that, realize when you get to that point and go, oh, I know someone who this matches, that really helps in this process too. But finally, the question becomes, why is your solution, which I understand is the VA loan, the best for that you've just built? You have military members around 40 who are looking with a house with land. Why is the VA loan the best solution for that person?
Well, VA loans, we're typically just once over the world, we're typically going to have a better rate than any other loan out there. So that's kind of the big selling point, why all my clients are using VAs, because the majority of them can go conventional, but they choose to go with the VA, just
100% financing too.
Yeah, nothing down,
No mortgage
walk into it.
insurance.
Yeah.
Can I just say that's one
It is
thing
the
that
best
the
product
country has
out there.
done well for our military members. Yeah, son-in-law in the National Guard.
Hey, right on.
I'm like, I love that that's out there. So do you see how that process narrowed you down to kind of who you're looking at?
Yeah.
Now, when you narrow down to that, how do you talk to those people?
Starting. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was gonna go. You really want to be their drill sergeant back from the day when they hated?
Well, I'm a
Try them again.
retired first sergeant, so. Actually, I'm like, no. The best way to talk, I think the best way to talk to those specific clients, and really any clients, is just know what you're talking about. Be that subject matter expert, just as you covered a little bit earlier, was talking about master your field, right?
Yeah, master your field.
Know more than everybody else does. I'm not saying that I absolutely know more than everybody, but constantly trying to improve.
Yeah,
and be confident.
and I tend to guess that these are just the facts, ma'am, people, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They want
no
it laid out,
just-
they want the
No
facts.
fluff.
If
no
you can
fluff.
tuck in a story, you feel lucky that day.
Yep.
Right, because they want the facts, they want to put their own story in that situation. Their wives, however, if it's, you know, the wife who's not a military member, which can be the wife who's the military member, but their wives probably want the story, they want you to, you know, give the facts, and then they have you relax with the story. What did I just tell you?
Well, he just told me that the client, right, the one I'm talking to, right there, they want the facts, everything else, but you also have to be ready to give a little bit of time to the significant other. And
Can you build a system on that?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you, Tori, for that particular client, you're constantly looking to see which one of them is just the facts and talking to that one. You're probably almost always talking to them slightly separately.
Yeah.
And when you've got that in your head, I have to deal with these clients a little bit separately, man, you have a brand. Because you're taking care of them and realizing that you've got to take care of the home front, assuming it's the woman. You've got to take care of that wife and make sure she's super comfy in her home while her husband is deployed.
Yeah.
It's a totally different mindset that very few people really understand. I actually understand it because we put an basement apartment in our house in case our son-in-law would be deployed. And our daughter and now grandchildren would have a place to land if that would happen. So you've got this in the mindset right now. Everybody online and in the room, you're thinking now, walk through that and think, who are these people? What is happening in their lives that your solution is the problem? Well, your solution includes your knowledge, by the way, not just your VA loan. That is part of that process. That's part of that process is what's going on and how can I best treat these people well? Man, you might get deployed. She's gonna need a food storage room on the main floor so that she doesn't have to leave the babies when she has to run down and get a can of tomatoes.
Yeah.
Right? You thought through exactly what that family might need. Now, you got super narrow. I pushed you super narrow because we've got babies in the picture now. There's a wife who wants the story. There's a husband who's just the facts, right? I pushed you super narrow. Does it apply everywhere? Does your good skills, your people skills apply to almost everybody? She's actually a single mom who's a member of the military and she's got teenagers. Can you still apply those skills? Absolutely, because you've got them. And that's the big part about brand. You've got the skills because you narrowed your focus, you really dug in and got to know that person, the skills begin to apply. You're not just always going to serve the perfect little nuclear family. It's going to look different in lots of different ways. And that's the best part of getting narrow is because once you go narrow, your knowledge begins to apply in ways you never had any idea it would. It's a really amazing process. You can tell I love my job. All right, I'm going to skip forward on this next slide. This is my own answer to these questions, but we're going to move on forward. All right, branding principle number 2, build on what you know. You have a wealth of knowledge and abilities that are your strengths. Use those strengths as you build your brand and your business. So I've been focused on Tori, I'm going to focus on Jeff for just a second. Jeff, what is your top strength? Brag a little bit for us.
In what area? Just in
Anything.
general?
What's your strength that makes you good at what you do? Let's do that.
I'd say my experience.
Nice. Not
Not nice.
your top strength is your outgoing and gregariousness.
Cindy's laughing. Depends on where he is.
Depends on the crowd.
All right. So the truth is Jeff's experience really is his top strength, right? But so is your personality characteristics and so on. But how you use those things, how you leverage those things are all about how you build a business, because you don't want to build your business on, let me think of a competing strength, on the idea that you're, is he super huggy? I was going to not.
No, well, I was thinking when he was saying experience, I'd say mentorship. he uses his experience for mentorship is kind of where he's
Which,
at.
did you see those two actually go together?
Yeah, they do.
Those are the same thing, and
Yeah.
I've known Jeff for all about 5 minutes now. So, but that really comes through, that there's experience there. So that mentorship concept, which I love that word, that mentorship concept then becomes something that you begin to share outside of yourself, right? So let's quickly talk about this. This is one of my favorite concepts of all the things I do. In fact, it's in every single workshop that I do. Because when you take the time to intentionally improve your strengths, they turn into talents. When you intentionally improve your talents, they turn into gifts. Strengths are inside you and for you. Right? They're really inside, they're all for you. Talents are what others see about you. So it's in Nothing Flat, I could tell that about Jeff, that mentorship was his thing, right? When Jeff invites a workshop to happen, he does the trainings. I heard him talking about this other room over there where they do role playing and stuff. When he spreads it out, that's when gifts become really valuable. So what I want you to think about here is this concept that you have some strengths. Man, build on those. Build on those things first. We, as a society, so often look at each other's weaknesses and especially our own weaknesses, and we criticize and we judge and we shame. What if the whole world started looking for strengths? What is Jeff's strength, and isn't he amazing for it? What is my strength, and how can I share it? What is Tori's strengths? What is Sydney's strengths? What is Summer's strengths? And everybody online, those strengths can begin to become gifts that we share with the world. And isn't it amazing? They're all different. They're all different, and that's awesome. When you build on those, then you have built your own unique brand. Sydney, are you a realtor?
Yes.
What kind of real estate do you do?
I work right now with a lot of first-time home buyers. And then, but residential.
Yeah, all right, so we take that, just that little tiny bit of knowledge and compare it to, I have a lot of knowledge about Tori by now, but we take that and go, he's probably looking at first-time realtors too, but in a way more specific market than you're looking for. So if we were to go through your 5 questions on you, you'd end up in a completely different place. Still working with first-time home buyers, probably. I mean, I don't know it's every time, but a lot. So just realize that your strengths attract a different set of people than Tori's amazing strengths, and there's enough to go around. It's amazing that way.
Abundance.
So anyway, so how do we build on what you know? What's your 2022 word of the year? Do you guys pick them? Some people pick them, some people don't. What's your greatest personal strength? I just asked Jeff for his. What's your most important core value? The core values exercise is free on my website. We actually did it in the last workshop if you guys were here, but it's I'll put it up there. Excuse me. The core values exercise is available at buildwithbranding.com/brand management. So you can go grab that. If you don't really know right now and you can't label them, the labels do amazing things for me. I find most people really appreciate the label because having the word mentorship as a label is very empowering. I think it is. So then you take those strengths, whether that's your word or your personal strength or a core value, however you find it, and ask, how does your strength show up in your business? So this is that question of checking your brand. How does your strength show up in your business? Now, online people, if you have anything to add here, please go off of mute and let us know. How does your strength show up in your business? We would love to hear from anybody. And that follow-up question, I'm watching the screen. The follow-up question is, do you have a business system that plays to your strengths? This is critical if your brand is going to be your brand and not Jeff's brand. You have to play to your strengths. So it seems like you're super outgoing as well, just like Jeff.
Very introverted. It's all a show.
Right? Do you have something that plays to that strength? You're probably a fantastic speaker. Do you speak to people? Right? Now, I hope you don't mind, Sydney. You seem less so. as a speaker.
I'm getting there.
Miss-
You-
you
But
missed
your
it.
strength is more than likely the one-on-one, right? And that's fabulous too. Do not get me wrong. That's fabulous because a lot of people need the one-on-one. They can't connect to somebody over a speaking situation. They need someone to sit in the chair beside them and go,
We're pulling her up front.
right?
Working on it.
Everybody loves that. So don't feel like you have to be a public speaker if that's not your thing. I'm choosing one example, by the way. Right? Don't feel like you have to do that. Play to your strengths. If you're the one-on-one man, you're in a BNI and you're doing one-to-ones every week and you're getting to know people, right? You're going to the networking meetings, but you're also making appointments outside of them so that you can talk to people. You're a relationship builder. And there's a lot of power in that. In fact, many people say more power. I'm sure Tori is too, because he's super nice. But you know what I'm saying? That relationship building skill is amazing. Because you're the kind of person who they come to time after time and go, Sydney, where do I find a dentist in my new area? And Sydney's like, I'm not sure, but I'll find out for you just a sec, because you've got a relationship. And when you do that one time, I'm telling you, 5 years down the road, there's one more customer. And how quick, with that 30 seconds, I'll find you a dentist. 5 years down the road, another customer, because they say, Sydney is so amazing, she is, right? Relationships, that's how that goes. So whatever your strength is, build on it, build a system for it. And now a system might sound cold, especially if I'm talking about relationships, but how hard is it to make sure that every single client you talk to, you looked at in the eyes? To make sure that you actually, when you got home, you got onto your CRM and you wrote down, Sydney loves puzzles and puppies and pizza and the letter P.
Yes.
Right? And it's not very hard after, when you know you're gonna meet that client again, to pull up their file and go, Sydney loves puzzles and pizza and the letter P and puppies and Z's, because that was a lot of Z's too. Right, and pizzazz, woohoo, go me. Okay. Okay, so now you remember that client just a little bit because you wrote a couple things down. System. Right? If you want to deal with a lot of clients, you've got to have a system. We do not scale a business without a system. That's how that works. If you're flying by the seat of your pants, your business will never grow. You can't do it. It's got to have a system. All right, let's move forward. Principle number 3, Jeff, I have no idea on the time. Tell me how much
You're
time.
good. It's 11:38. We usually go something.
Okay. We're gonna go even faster than it, because we've got a lot of ground to cover. Brand
We don't mind if we go a
consistency.
little over.
Okay, brand consistency is built with business systems that reflect your values, right? So we've really spent the last 5 minutes talking about that, right? You build on who you are, build on what you're good at. Your values are going to be your same thing you're good at, your strengths. As you use your business systems, you'll care for customers before, during, and after a sale. And that is what builds recognition. So the example I just gave of Sydney who needs to find a dentist for her client who moved into a new area, that's after the sale. She's still helping them out. And that's what's going to build that customer base down the road, because you built that recognition. So variety is, in fact, the spice of life. Remember, I said you want to freshen the look of a brand as opposed to completely change it, unless you're doing other things that are data driven. Consistency is how you build, right? You're going to build in any area of your life. This is why Atomic Habits is one of those #1 bestsellers, because it's all about the habits, the consistency in your life. So how? Can any of you tell me your brand promise? It's usually a tagline. Jeff, what's your brand promise?
We're still kind of working on that. One thing that we use.
Jeff, I've got a card for you, that working on a thing, that's what I do.
Yeah. We use creating a better agent experience a lot, both for our clients and for other agents.
Like it, I like it. Let's talk about that one. Say it again, creating
A better agent experience.
a better agent experience. All right.
Because everyone's had a shitty one.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. No, sorry.
It's all good. All right, how do you ensure that that brand promise, creating a better agent experience, is consistently achieved? that off and get into more.
By constantly putting other people's needs above my own.
Nice. Can you measure that?
I'm not sure what the metric would be.
Yeah.
You know, I can.
Go for
So anytime I've ever needed something, right? So I've got like a first person that I call, and then Jeff is always that second person I call. And then even then, I bring questions into training. I mean, I'm telling you, that's how he measures it in my eyes.
Yeah. Nice. You really can measure it like that, you know? Did I serve his needs? And it can be simple as, do you need anything else? Which I bet you ask pretty frequently. And you could actually keep track. Tori called me, took care of something. I asked, do you need anything else? Tori says, no, man, I'm good. And you're like, check. You really could measure it that way. I'm not sure you'd want to, but that particular measurement. The trick here is creating a better agent experience. You need to know. You need to know if the agent experience is actually better. Because when you start asking those questions, you begin to find new ways to improve, new ways to grow, some ways to back off. You know, what needs to be deleted? So you individual agents, Sydney and Tori and everybody online, you guys realize that you should set your own brand promise. What is it that you're gonna make sure is done every time, every client, every transaction? What feeling do you want them to have when they leave you? And then, how, my friends? How does that happen? And can you prove it? Do you have the numbers? When you have that, you have a brand because you know you're doing it. But when you have the numbers, you realize that some of those feel-good things are maybe taking up way more time than you want, and you would feel better with something different. But you don't know that until you measure it. There's no way to do it otherwise. You gotta measure it. All right, so we're gonna move forward. I hope I made that point well. Now, branding principle number 4, meet needs. Your brand, which is business processes, I've been hitting that pretty hard, must be set up for the needs of your customers, but even the needs they might not know they have. That main floor food storage room. She may not know she has that need. The big kitchen with the place for the dishes on the bottom. Everybody puts the dishes up, right? That means little kids can't unload the dishwasher. So you want places for the dishes on the bottom if you're dealing with a family with little kids. Most women don't even realize that because they were raised with the dishes up. I happen to be raised by a mother who wanted the dishes. She wanted the dishes on the bottom. So the little kids can unload the dishwasher. Super smart. So all of my dishes, all on the bottom. Everybody walks into my kitchen looking for cups and like spices and cans and paper plates. Where are the cups? Right? So stuff like that, meeting needs they don't even know they have. You know, you could do that, you could do that. As residential realtors, you guys, all you have to do is go, what's your favorite thing about your house and why? Follow up with customers. We're about to talk about that, by the way. Follow up with customers. What's your favorite thing about your house and why? When you realize that person after person goes, I love having the cups on the bottom so that Johnny can put the things away for me and I don't have to do it anymore. And you know what a pattern match? You guys have, you know, the little baby toys where you put the circle through the circle and the square through the square. Silverware, same concept. Get a stool, put the kid there, the kid pulls out the spoon, he matches it. Same thing, and the dishes are put away. Right? Are you thinking about these things for your clients? Meet their needs that they don't even know they have. You what?
I failed as a parent.
Stop it.
That's brilliant.
All right.
I love it.
I just kept telling my kids, figure it out.
Sydney's rearranging her kitchen in her mind right now.
All right, well, I have to give credit to my mother for that. But so how do you do it? When was the last time you asked customers, when you went back to them after the sale, they're happy in their home, and asked 5 questions max, right? Never give them these 25 long surveys with 14 bullet points, right? You go back with the 5 questions you need to know to make your business happen now. So you want to develop a survey to do that. Now, notice that in parentheses, it says with a professional. It has to be, your survey needs to get you information that you really need. So you really want to work with hopefully a statistician, honestly, who specializes in quality control, if you can find such a person. Because that professional helps you ask the question in a way that is most likely to be understood by people and get you data that you can use. The problem that we run into all the time with surveys is you'll ask your question because it makes perfect sense to you, and it'll have four things there, and everybody chooses the fifth one, which is other. Right? And that means your 4 ones are irrelevant and aren't doing any good. Or they feel, or you didn't put the other, which is even worse. And they're like, well, I guess this one. And now you're going, oh, it's that one. And it never was. Develop a survey with a professional. If that's, or make sure you give it to like 20 people before so that everything is fully understood. How would you answer? Anyway, you get my point. All right, so let's see. Use your own products and services to help you see how they're meeting your needs or not, right? That's a little harder with real estate people because you already have a house, but have somebody walk through those products and services and then get creative, right? Be creative about how your products and services apply. All right, let's move forward. Branding principle number 5, design for long-term impact.
Do you have a sample survey on your website?
It's actually a Google form. Mine's a Google form and it's 3 questions, not even 5, because I'm only looking for specific answers right now. The fascinating thing about it is that's a total tangent. I'm not going to go down that road because we don't have time. But I don't have a customer service.
It just got me thinking. Well,
Yeah.
Good point.
Oh, okay. So it would be fairly simple to develop one, but then you want to have it carefully checked and whatnot. Your brand will have more power when you know how your interactions, products, and services provide long-term impact on your clients. This is another survey question. How did that feel to you, that kind of question? When you build your brand on the promise of that long-term impact, that is, you know what it is, and you go back and adjust your systems to make sure it's created in every single customer, every single time. That's what our brand building is all about, is we're looking at the impact and then we're going back and upgrading the brand back to that impact again. You'll find the selling becomes super easy. You guys probably don't have to do a ton of selling, especially not in this market, because you're not selling the same kind of things anyway. But it's sometimes hard. Sellers sometimes have a hard time because they don't want to be selling to people. But when what you're offering has a tremendous amount of value, it is super easy to go, yeah, I've got this option is not available in this thing kind of thing, right? You bring the value every single time. So developing the systems for the value of what you offer, not the cost. All right, you do have to do a cost of doing business, don't get me wrong, but make sure that you're looking at how valuable the thing is, because it's so much easier to share it when it's super valuable. The cost has to match market research, has to match your cost of doing business and so on. But when you know what it's valuable, it's really easy to sell. All right, so how do you do that? You start with your big why. Why do you do this? And then you write a 1-sentence answer, get it down, just, what, and then ask, why is that important? Then ask, why is that important? And so on down the line. You got to dig down to that big why. Why do you do this? Because the first why is almost always going to be something like, I want to help people, which is amazing. But why is that important? Well, because they need good houses. Why is that important? Because they want a safe place to raise their children. Why is that important? Because when the children are safe, they have better emotional outcomes and they turn into responsible adults. So all of a sudden your big why has gone to responsible adults in 20 years. And that's a way different thing. And when you realize as you get down there and go, I've got to responsible adults, and I'm thinking about now your business systems include the husband, the wife, and the kids, right? You're actively looking at their schools. Do they have good schools and shame? Because I want those kids to be responsible adults and hopefully military members. Okay? Right? When you go down through it, you're like, oh, I did not realize this is important because of the larger picture. All right. And so, like I said, as long as you're surveying customers, ask about the impact of your products. Number 6, brand should be carefully designed to attract your preferred client. You do that with systems, message, images, organization, colors, and most importantly, active invitations. If what you have offers value, invite people to share in it. How? Here's the question to check your brand. How often are you actively inviting? Are you networking? Are you sending out newsy emails? Are you putting out social media posts that really share your ideas and thoughts and great pictures? Are you having those one-on-one casual conversations as well as going deeper? Are you attending workshops like this? Are you teaching workshops like this? Are you speaking to people? There's a ton of different ways to be inviting. The most obvious one that everybody talks about, so I skipped right over it, is the elevator pitch. Does your elevator pitch invite? If you just tell people, hey, I'm a realtor with March Realty, that's what I do, I sell residential homes. Right, there needs to be something, hey, you're in the market. I've got a home on your, yeah, I don't need to go that far, but right, that next question, it could be even, what do you do? Because then you learn somebody's in the military, somebody's, you know, a young family, the first time home, you start to learn things. And make sure there's not a stop. Carry it forward, invite. Then again, systems, how effective are your systems, right? Are if you're doing all 6 of those bullet points, are they actually effective, or are they taking up way more time than they should? Because so often we're doing things that are comfortable, familiar, path of least resistance, right? We're doing those things over and over and going, why aren't they working? I keep doing them, right? This is how I feel about social media. You guys all caught that by now. But we keep doing what's comfortable, familiar, and easy because we've done it so often, it's now easy, right? And yet I think that it's a huge time suck because I don't see a lot of benefit from social media. My benefit almost always comes from workshops like this or networking, you know, going to networking meetings. And because that's the case, I'm pulling back on social media and pushing up my relationship building. And that's what this is all about. So, all right, final one, always be improving. Your brand should be consistent without being stagnant, right? If you're feeling like, oh, this is the next step, I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, it's like the same thing, fix it, don't become stagnant, but do remain consistent. Because your consistency is gonna be built on who you are, built on your strengths, it's always going to feel good to stay consistent in those ways, so you can upgrade the systems that are making you feel stagnant and still have them be consistent with who you are. So just realize that's how that kind of works. How do we do that? This is now a summary of the workshop. So ask the questions and dig deep into the answers to narrow your focus in many areas of your brand. So that's number 1. Number 2, define your strengths and build your brand effectively from them. Develop your brand promise and use it to evaluate your brand for consistency. Create a survey that gathers data from your current clients and determine now how you're meeting needs and what impact your products or services are having. Dig deep into your big why and use that to build brand systems. Finally, develop new methods of inviting people to your brand and measure those methods so that you're sure that they're leading with who you want to work, leading to who you want to work with. And then put your brand through a brand audit frequently. This slide is a brand audit. That's what it's all about. Are these things happening? Are there areas where you can improve? That's what that's all about. All right, so what's the next step? At the first of this workshop, I told you the next step was fix this next. You need to know the fix this next evaluation is completely free. It is buildwithbranding.fixthisnext.com. It is 25 questions long, and essentially it will help you understand where to start. The evaluation itself will tell you there's no cliffhangers here. So it's not like you have to contact me to find out or whatever. There's nothing like that. It will just come out and tell you, send you a little PDF, which that PDF is not particularly useful. I'll just tell you that. You actually need to talk to somebody after that. But once you realize that, say your number 1 need is lead generation, you change how you do business. You stop working at the higher levels and come back and forth with the lead levels. Develop some systems for those leads so that they can begin to go on automatic. and then you go on to the next thing that needs to be fixed, right? So that is, it's totally free, go check it out. And the end of the thing, it will have a button that says you can contact your advisor, because this is my page, it'll come to me. So.
I love this. We're talking about this right now. It's like, what do we do first?
Yeah, what do you do first? And you'll do it on your level, but each individual realtor can do it on their level.
Well,
So,
and we're talking on a team level too.
exactly. So yeah, check
So
this out.
multiple-
This is
I love that.
wide ranging. So it goes, the acronym SPOIL is how I remember it, because that's how you taught me to remember it. But SPOIL, S is sales, P is profit, O is order, I is
Income.
not, it could be actually, but I don't think so. I can't remember it. The L is legacy. And so the two I and the L are at the top of the pyramid. If you guys remember, I told you it was a pyramid.
Mhm.
And you don't ever get to those until you fix the sales, profit, and order. Order, the other word for order is efficiency, but you need an order to spell out spoil. So it's actually efficiency. But anyway, yeah, check this out. And then, so I do teach more. There is more here. Actually, each of these brand things is happens in a larger workshop. So I focus on, well, these are actually different parts of it, but there's more, there's way more. And what I do with this is it's a 90-minute workshop. After the workshop, I make an appointment with you and we go over what you learned and we develop an action plan, and I help to figure out how I'm going to help you be accountable to your action plan so that you begin applying what you learned. So if you look at each topic, each concept is, you know, so huge all by itself. They're 90-minute workshops with an after. So anyway, the build and maintain your brand plan is all the systems that go into your business. The foundation is the business values, so that's where you start. You see there's actually a progression. Then you write your vision, so that's the very next workshop, and you use that vision to establish goals for long-term effort in your business. Then develop market research is the one where we talk about survey and all those kinds of things. And looking at your competitors, who are your competitors and how are they doing things, all of those kinds of things. Build tools to attract your preferred client goes into much more depth on the survey, as well as how you're talking to people and so on like that. And then the roadmap to your vision, the business mission statement is the concept of what you look at daily. So vision is down here, the mission statement is every single day until you get there, and then you start over and do the process again. So that's what those are all about. So that's again on my website. And then I do a 1-hour consultation right after with you, and then do it again in a month. How did it go? What did it, text you in the middle and all those kinds of things. So how many of you guys go to workshops where there's like zero follow-up? And I'm gonna send Jeff a workbook, but then you're never gonna hear him from me again because Jeff didn't pay me for this. You get it. But I don't want to have that happen to people. I want you to go out to these workshops with actionable items that really build your business. So that's what that's about. Now, is there more? There's more.
Where do you do these workshops? Are these all
Zoom.
on Zoom?
These are all on Zoom, which is why I was like, cool, all of you guys are amazing. You're all here because these are all on Zoom. So, I forgot to take that slide. Anyway, it's not supposed to have a big circle in the middle. Sorry about that. There are even more involved things. These are much more foundational. So these are for somebody who's relatively new in this process. The previous workshops, that's why I had them first, is because you guys are farther along in the process. But these are kind of new business items. So we focus on the foundation of what is brand. Course 2, so sorry it's covered up, everybody, is all about your preferred client. And how to go through it. The workshop is the kind of almost the review of this. So like you say, this is the foundation of some of those larger workshops. And then competition, who is your competition? I'm so sorry, I'm mad at myself that I didn't get that thing out of there. Competition, and then brand plan, how to set up the business systems for your business and so on like that. So these kinds of things, that's 4 classes, because there's a heck of a lot of work, and I expect there's work in a little bit in the middle, but I want a lot of the work done in class, because again, I know how it goes. I've been teaching this for quite some time now, and I get students halfway through the course and they're like, I can't keep up with everything. And I'm like, okay, if I spread it out a little bit and do most of the work in class, I'll serve my people better. So that's how this is designed, is to be able to have most of the work done in class. And that is that's why it's set up this way. So it would take you 4 months to get through all of it, but that's what that is. Again, it's on my website. And finally, thank you. This is contacting me. Oh, this is not contacting me. My name's not even on there. Jeff is going to send you my workbook for this course. Okay, so just really quick, the workbook is a repeat of what I just covered in the course. But the reason why I'm sending it to you after, as opposed to giving it to you so that you can be writing down, is number one, I give you more information in the workbook that I couldn't cover in the class. But also there's the concept that you go to it about, a couple of days after and kind of regurgitate and rethink. You give your brain, it's a learning thing, right? You give your brain time to percolate on it and then go back and hit it again. It becomes, there's a clarity that happens in that process. So Jeff is going to send you that workbook. That will have my email address, although I have to say my current email address is broken. It's going to come from my old email address till I can get the silly thing fixed. A whole long story you don't need to hear, but it's currently I can't get to my email. It's totally broken. But join my Facebook group. This is where all of my events are announced. So if you want to just jump into the Facebook group and watch the events happening, great. And then let's see, core values and all the brand education on my website. All right, woo! And Callie, if you want to just talk to me.
Amber's running late, so you have like 5 more minutes.
So keep talking. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to keep talking.
You can go into depth on something else if you'd like.
Are there any questions?
Yeah,
Online
let's
people,
see if we
any
have any
questions,
comments or
any
questions.
thoughts?
I had a quick question really
Go ahead,
fast.
Bonnie.
So I can't remember if you said this or not. I think you did, but I just didn't hear it. Why did you start parting ways from social media?
I really actually try hard to not get into the news feed because it's bottomless, and they designed it that way, right? It's bottomless, and all of a sudden 20 minutes have gone by and I'm like, oh, I have things to do, right? So for me, that's it. But also, so Facebook especially, it tells you how many people have seen your stuff, and it's pathetic. I'm like, I am putting all my effort into this, and 7 people saw it. Even though so my workshops are posted in 8 groups. I work with the administration of those groups, so I post my stuff in 8 different groups, and most of my clients come out of those other groups. So my own group doesn't actually do me any good, but that's my public group. That way it means I can spread out from there. But I don't have any bad experiences. If people are mean to me, I just unfriend them and move on with my life. It's not like anything like that. It's just, I consider it a personal time drain because I measure these things, without enough return on investment. It's not worth my time. So that's probably, and that's the biggest thing, is 7 people, it's not worth my time.
You gotta pay to play.
And were you
Sponsor that.
mostly,
That's what's
oh,
built
sorry.
on.
Go ahead,
Were you
Bonnie.
mostly on Facebook, or were you both
Yes.
on Facebook and Instagram?
So I am on Instagram. I have a presence on Instagram, but I never go there. It all is handled through the business suite on Facebook. So in
Gotcha.
fact, I have my Instagram profile is gorgeous. But if you go through you know how the feeds are anyway. Mine's really beautiful.
Sure.
But I just do it through the business suite, and because Facebook is not great about promoting a business, even when the business is offering something super valuable, because I like all the things I just gave you guys, they'll be in my posts. It's not like I'm hiding this stuff, but Facebook doesn't always want you to pay for business stuff, and I'm not ready to do that as yet. So I haven't spent a ton of time. LinkedIn, I have a presence on LinkedIn as well as Alignable. And my daughter was talking to me about TikTok the other day, and I'm like, I don't think I'm that young.
Not ready.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just been a personal decision to realize that it's such a time drain. So I set a timer. This is how I do it. I set a timer. This is my social media time. And if you guys want a really good hint, you guys know about focusmate.com? Focusmate is a accountability system. So what it is you log on, you get a buddy. Buddy's on the camera, you both turn off your mics and go to work, and you and your buddy just sit there and work. You tell your buddy, I'm working on this today, and in 50 minutes, the little dingy thing goes off and you both report, here's how I did. to
Just some
help
random stranger.
Totally random stranger.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my buddy yesterday was named Hassan, and then it was Christy, and then, right, I mean, it's just, anyway, focusmate.com is awesome. 50 minutes or 25 minutes, so you choose your what time period. So I actually get on Focusmate, I'm like, this is my social media hour, and I'm gonna spend the next hour working, you know, commenting, blah, 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 blah. And so I use that as my timer.
So Bonnie, I will add though, like you just said, Jennifer said that her Instagram profile is beautiful. I mean, you make posts and somebody might not see it, but when they're looking into you,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I look at it for, is like, what are they gonna find?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a photographer, my profiles have to be good looking. Yeah.
Just like your slides.
Yeah.
This was, right when I was pulling it up, I was like, ooh, good looking deck.
Yeah, it helps to be the photographer, except for this particular shot was taken by my dog.
Oh yeah, by the way, did she mention she's a photographer? Has that even come up?
Anyway, thank you for the question, Bonnie. Any other questions? Kathy, oh, never mind. She went back off mute.
Well, actually, I do have a question. I was just wondering if you could show the very first slide again. I take pictures with my screen with my phone.
Kathy, I'll also post this slide deck for you guys in the Facebook group.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Like the title slide? Which one, Kathy, are you talking
The
about?
very first one.
Yes, that one. Yes, the title.
Well, the title is actually my own title. I think it was Sydney who asked if I wanted to change the name, and I'm like, great, that name works for what I'm doing. So just realize that the name I gave it and the name that Sydney gave it are slightly different, or well, they're seriously different, essentially, is what they
What
are.
name did you give us?
Does that help, Kathy?
I think so.
Okay,
I think I got the second one too.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
I think I got the second one.
Okay. Any thoughts or ahas? I'd love to hear about an aha. Amber just arrived with lunch, a lot of lunch for the four of us.
Yes, unfortunately. I think it's just being aware and being purposeful and going through these exercises and drilling down. Because I sometimes think in just broad scope, big picture things, and focusing down and narrowing down is going to be important for us moving forward.
Absolutely. And the way I designed this, the 6 workshops as opposed to the courses, the 6 workshops are actually designed to be taken every year. I mean, because in truth, your business changes enough that when you need to go back and, go, well, is my system still working the way I intended it to? Have I measured what I needed to measure? Do I understand how my clients are thinking? Do they really want the dishes on the bottom, right? They often don't, because that means they have to bend down. That's when big drawers come in handy, big drawers.
Can you go back to your screwed up slide that had the pricing on it? I just want you to go over how that works. Look again.
There's gotta be a better way. than
Because
going
you
through it
had
one
something
by
on
one.
there like, if multiple people participate
yeah.
together. Can you explain?
Yeah, so the workshops, because they are individual conferences afterwards, I don't do a bulk price for that, but the coursework stuff, in fact, is, and because I know with realtor groups, this is a question I get a lot. Let's get back there and take a look at it. There we go. Okay, so in individual, I would charge $297, but when you guys put the group together, I take 1/3 off. So if you just wanted to say course 1, your foundation, you would if you got a group of 7 together, everybody pays $199. Makes that super easy because you build the group. That's been given you the discount for. If you bundle the whole thing down, you see the prices there, same concept. If you're building the group, I'm going to give you a huge discount for that. So do you want me to go through is that what you needed to know?
Well, and whatever you were about to say. So that's for these 4 courses. How is that different than the other slide, the monthly one you do?
The workshop.
Yeah.
So
separate
these are
that.
4 classes. where I'm right there with you as well. I mean, consultations is a built-in with the classes as well. But so that takes a month to go through 4 classes in a single topic. So you're essentially building everything that you would then check in the other ones. So the previous one.
So you said it takes a month, so these are weekly?
Yes, so each bullet
Okay.
point is a week. These are actually the topics. What makes a great brand, defining your values, mapping your something amazing, and developing a brand promise. Right, so each one of those is a week,
Okay,
and then, you know, each one, so it's like 16 weeks.
and are those specific days and times as well, or
If you build your
depending on the group?
If you build your group, I'll do it anytime it's best for you. So, in the general, and when I put it out there, generally, I choose the time that's best for me.
Right,
But
right,
if,
right,
but if it's your group, you can choose the time. As long as it isn't 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah, don't do that.
And this would be Zoom as well?
Yeah, unless you wanted it live. Yeah,
I'm just brainstorming, guys. If you're interested in having further talk about this as a group, just say yes or something in the chat to me.
put your, oh, you've got the chat.
Yeah,
I
put
think
in
it would
chat
be
so it's
good.
safe.
Me as like a new-ish agent, not having taken my test yet, I think that'd be fun.
That's funny.